Welcome to the entrepreneur life. What is one thing that would move the needle for your business? I'm talking about, has God given you a vision in your life? Corruption is on every single level, not just in business, but in society. How do we stay not just relevant, but stay afloat, but then make a profit? For most people, you actually decide 90% already that you're going to do something. So if you've been at Collective for the last year, you've been attending these business insight meetings and you haven't got a physical business card, shame on you. What am I hesitating on today that I need to decide on? So this is basically working on the business, not in it. Because we all know the things that we need to do to work on it. You had somebody to tell you how to do it, somebody to tell you how to brand it, how to market it, how to sell it, how to scale it. But what makes this one different? Are you called to just a life of ease and comfort? Is that what you're after, just kind of a mediocre living? There's no such thing as time management. Create more than you consume. So let me ask you guys, where is your food? There it is. Okay, now you can say, oh, look at that. It's my oldest, Hezekiah. He looks like me, but he chats like mommy, and he eats like a sloth making a slow motion picture. This is my baby girl, Malia. So I put my name, Matt, my wife's name, Leah, together. Boom, Malia. And then we got this, my homie, Koa, my brave boy. He is down for anything. He's my hype man. And then, of course, my beautiful wife, who's really the entrepreneur between us two. She crazy. She's like the entrepreneur of entrepreneurs, visionaries of visionaries. You give her one day off, she comes back, not only with the business idea, but she's already vetted it, did the research, and knows how we can have a competitive advantage. So that's my wife, that's my family. Hey, a little bit about myself. Some of you guys already know, in 2009, graduated from UH, and leading up to that point, I was like, God, I see the path moving forward. I was in business. It's okay, you do the internship, you climb the corporate ladder, yada, 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 right? I was like, I don't know if I want that. Is there more to life than just this? Because I see the path and I have a feeling you have something different. And he did. So I prayed about it and I committed 1 year to going on missions through a bunch of different trips, ended up at Bali, Indonesia, committed there for 1 year. And maybe some of you guys are thinking, Bali, what? That's such a resort place. It wasn't always that way. And just think about what we live in Hawaii, right? As well. So if missionaries to Hawaii, think about that. People need Jesus wherever and everywhere, okay? So I went to Bali, committed 1 year. Quickly, I was like, this is awesome. I love doing this work, working in the kids' homes, orphanages, agriculture projects, helping the church, etc. And so I was like, you know what? I want to commit 5 years. Committed 5 years. And in the last year, I said, God, I need a wife, otherwise I'm going home. That week, I met Cruz, my wife, and she's crazy. She's, hey, I want to start a CrossFit gym. I was like, what is CrossFit? And so I looked it up online. And I'm like, why am I watching people exercise? It's so silly. But she's crazy. And I was like, you know what? You're hot. I really want to hang out with you. And I've experienced this like CrossFit thing over here and it's all about people. So you know what? Let's do it. And so we did. So full circle moment. This picture right here, these kids are kids that I met back in 2005, 6, and 9. And I helped serve at that home. And then I'm still working with them. We grew from 2 homes back then when I first started to now like a few dozen across Southeast Asia through Asian Pacific Children's Fund. And then this picture right here, this girl, Annie, she was part of this street kids ministry that I helped pioneer. Little girl, super tiny, malnourished. I checked my kid into preschool and look who it is. She's one of the teachers. So cool, full circle moment. That's the church we helped to start. And then, yeah, as I said, we started the first CrossFit gym in Bali, Indonesia. It was cool. It was incredible. We opened it in a place where there's just rice paddy fields, nothing around, and it just blew up like crazy. So we pioneered a health and fitness movement. Anybody been to Bali before? Quick show of hands. Okay, a few of you. So this part of Bali, it's all about health and fitness, but it wasn't always that way. We were the first gym. There was one healthy cafe, and there was Deus Ex Machina, like a biker surfer shop. And so basically our businesses help to brand an entire area of Bali. And so when you go there today, it's all about healthy living. There's gyms everywhere. There's 30 gyms within a 1 mile radius of where I opened up. So it's an incredible place and God did a lot of things. And I need to remember to click over here so that you guys can see it. So yeah, that's the gym that we bought, wedding, staff that we had, we grew. In incredible movements. And then we expanded. So from that little tiny gym, I took over an entire sports facility. We started a new business as well called Fit Meals, healthy frozen food. It was the first of its kind in Bali. And we were going to try to reach the mass markets of the 4th largest population in the world, Indonesia. And we did really well with that. So I've experienced a lot with that business, those businesses. So Whenever I hear somebody talking about, oh, having staff drama, oh, having hiring issues, oh, having financial stuff, I get it. I've been there. I've had these businesses that has given me this incredible experience. But here's something a little bit different to what I experienced. Indonesia is consistently one of the hardest places to do business because of corruption. Corruption is on every single level, not just in business, but in society. It's so ingrained that it's just kind of part of how you do things. So I've experienced some stuff, okay? I've had to deal with religious mafia, local mafia, immigration mafia, mafia of every kind, parking mafia, okay? I've had to deal with a lot of stuff. I even had somebody paid immigration off. They got 2 of my coaches deported, but leading up to that point, they had me go to immigration every week, sit there for 2 to 3 hours doing nothing. They just said, hey, you have an appointment, come in. And what you gonna do? I'm a foreigner in this place. So for 2.5 months, I went to immigration, sat there for 2 to 3 hours, only for them to say, hey, come back next week. I find out I just didn't offer them enough money. Like, maybe you guys could have just said that from the start, yeah? So here's another crazy story that I like to tell. I'm headed to my gym on my motorbike. My gym's about half a mile from the beach. And I passed by this beach club. My business partner at the time, he was the CEO of the club, multi-million-dollar. I'm driving, I'm like, is that a tank? Is that a military transport? What is that? And so I get to my gym and then I jump on the phone. I'm like, hey, bro, why is there a tank and military transport in front of your beach club? He's my friend, but did you see the snipers in the trees? So I walk on. I look, I'm like, why are there snipers in the trees? So what ended up happening was the local parking mafia had an issue with the beach club. And so instead of the beach club trying to deal with it through the police, which have little to no power, or the local gang, or the regional gang, or the big gang in Bali, they went, boom, straight to the Indonesian military, done deal. They brought in like, how do you even do that? Do you go online and fill out an application, right? So it's crazy. And that's the kind of experiences that I've had doing business overseas, which is maybe a little bit different. Coming back here, I'm like, okay, was it DPP, Department of Permit? I know, I hear about that. Imagine that, but in every single institution and every part of society, okay? That's what I had to deal with in Bali, doing business. So coming back here, I'm not saying it's easy, but it's definitely been different. So for my business, we were the little guys. So we started off as the first gym, right? We started off as the first gym. And you talk about first mover advantage, it actually became first mover disadvantage, because what happened was we became so successful, a lot of eyes started coming and a lot of money started coming and a lot of people who actually know what they're doing or CrossFit started coming. And so we had to compete with these gyms that are way larger than me. So you remember that photo of the tiny gym that I had? So that's about the size of 2 of these stages. I had guys coming in building gyms the size of this entire complex. And so how do we compete with these bigger dudes? How do we stay not just relevant, but stay afloat, but then make a profit? And so we had to come up with an idea. We had a competitive advantage, right? We needed one. And I remember talking to one of my friends. He opened a CrossFit gym. He was actually my first member. He opened his CrossFit gym after I sold, so it was fine. And he told me how much money they made. I was like, bro, that's it? Your gym is 8 times larger than mine. That's all you're making? He's like, dude, that's the most money we've made so far to date in the last 2 years. I'm like, bro, that was my average. And you're 8 times larger. So we did incredibly well because we had a competitive advantage, which was our fitness holiday package. But we targeted the European market, Australia, and Singapore, and they understand fitness holiday. Okay, so we built this entire service line that made our competition irrelevant. Because when somebody booked with us 3 days, 10 days, 30 days, we're getting them at the airport. We're getting commission off the hotel. We're getting commission off the surf lessons. If they're doing yoga every day, sure, we'll include that in the package. And our margins just were like going up and up. So imagine you book a 10-day with us, right? And you're like, yeah, I want to add on to everyday yoga. I'm going there to get fit, strong. You get there, you get sunburned, you're tired from training every day. You don't even go to yoga in 1 day. I made all that money. So we found a way on how to be competitive, okay, by being creative. And so the book recommendation I want to give to you guys today is Blue Ocean Strategies. If you haven't read this book, incredible book. In short, you want to look for the blue water. Okay, so think about your current business right now, right? All the competition, it's all red because all the sharks are chomping at the bits in that thing. Just like in the gym, it's like the typical model. UFC is what we're making money off just recurring revenue. Yeah, some merchandise, sure. But we're like, no, we're going to make our competition completely irrelevant and we're going to do this new thing. So for your business, is there a way on how you can find some blue water for yours? Okay, and last up, we were lucky and blessed to be able to sell our business. Typically for a business sale like a gym, maybe a multiple of 2.5, but because we had this fitness holiday package, we were able to increase the valuation so much more And not just that, we built the entire thing, the entire sales funnel, from getting the leads to nurturing the leads, to capturing them and to converting them, right? And everything had to be SOP'd out, everything, because that's how you build the valuation. If somebody looks at your business like, yo, this is a mom and pop shop, we can't take it over because once they're gone, then everything leaves with them. Can you document everything in order to make it something repeatable? And I had to, because I had a lot of Indonesian staff. And so not only did they have to learn English to operate HubSpot and do all that stuff, but they had to be able to do it with such preciseness that when I took a holiday, I didn't get any calls. And I want to suggest that to you guys. If you're at a place where you're building your business and you want to know if you have built your team and your operations so well that it can do the thing without you, go on a trip, go on a holiday. And that's what we did. And we went time and time again, and we got so many phone calls. But the time that we didn't get 0 phone calls for our 1 month trip, it's like, now we can sell it. So we sold it. For the next 2 to 3 years, we lived pretty well. COVID came up, and I guess like here, everything was empty, right? The surf lineups, well, I don't know about here, but in Bali, it was empty. Like we got to stay at hotels for like 10, 20% of the price. And so we had a really nice lifestyle. We had full-time staff. I didn't have to wash dishes or fold clothes or do any of that. I was working 1 to 2 hours doing my consulting work with these various organizations, but something was off. Something just didn't feel right, because I felt like God had a bigger vision for my life. And it wasn't one of ease and comfort. It wasn't one of, okay, yeah, just going to work 1 to 2 hours, not have to lift a finger for my household, just chill and relax. And mind you, I didn't have my business already sold, so less impact to the community. And so after a lot of prayer and just seeking, like, God, what is it? He gave me a vision for a bigger future. And that vision would come at a cost. So think about it. I lived in Bali for 15 years. 15 years, all that momentum, all my contacts, all of that. If I was going to move here, I was going to have to sacrifice. And more than that, I was going to lose my full-time babysitters and my house staff. I got to wash dishes again and do clothes and all of that. Got to do diapers and everything. So it would come at a cost. But I would say to you guys, are you called to just a life of ease and comfort? Is that what you're after, just a mediocre living? Now, I'm not talking about not being content. I'm talking about, has God given you a vision in your life that's greater, that's beyond than just being one of having comfort and ease? So yeah, it was going to cost a lot of stuff. We decided to move. We moved just at the end of 2023. We did go back 2024 just in case things didn't work out, but we committed to being here and yeah, sacrificed a lot. It's not easy. Yeah. Like doing all the stuff, like not having a guy to call to go fix my car, or just, hey, can you clean my garden, or pass the baby off to change the diaper. There's a lot of things, a lot of adjustments, but a lot of sacrifice that my wife and I had to give up, even my kids. But if you ask me, would you go back to your life in Bali? For both my wife and I, despite the hardships or any difficulties we have now, the challenges, is no. And what the crazier thing is for my kids, I got to take my kids out every day. We got to eat out every day, order in food. I got to take them to all the hotels, resorts every weekend, all of that. And when I asked them, guys, would you rather live in Bali or in Hawaii? It's crazy. They said they'd rather live here. And so what has God done in my heart, in my family's heart, to give us a bigger vision to know that this is exactly where we need to be? And so are you called to a vision and to victory? So picture this. Everybody been to Waimea Bay before? Yeah. So imagine driving, you're going to Waimea and you park in the car, you get settled on the beach, right? And then you have the jump rock just over there, okay? So you get out, you truck through the sand, and then you start going up the rock to go jump off. You get up to the rock, you're going up 5 feet, you're going up 10 feet, 20 feet. I think it's about 25 at the very top. And then you're looking out and you're like, yeah, this is what I was going to do. But then you step and it's, oh, this is a lot higher than what I thought. And you just start hesitating, take a step back. And then people behind you are like, oh, you can do it, you can do it. And then they do a countdown, okay, 3, 2, 1, go. And then you're like, ah, it's like your body is not moving. Your mind's telling you to go, but your body's not moving. And so you start hesitating. You take a step back. It's okay. And then you try to help yourself up again and you take a step back. And then how many times have I seen people do that? And eventually they just waste their time and they go back down, right? They don't take that step forward. See, my title is Vision to Victory. And it's that 2 part that's really hard. It's that 2 part where you're up there, you've done a lot of the work and you're there and it's time to do it, but you're not quite ready or you can't commit or something's holding you back. I was listening to a podcast from a person who literally gets hired to help you make decisions. She's a decision consultant. And she said, for most people, you actually decide 90% already that you're going to do something. It's that last 10% where you're like hesitating, where it holds you back. And then eventually it puts you into a situation where you're so hesitant, you're so unsure that you end up doing nothing. But you have to understand that indecision is still a decision and it could be costing you. So here's a question for you guys today. What am I hesitating on today that I need to decide on? What am I hesitating on today that I need to decide on? So if you guys aren't taking notes, I want you guys to take notes. Physical notes would be the best. If you're going to whip out your phone, go ahead and whip out your phone as well. But if you're taking out your phone, if you see some notifications, don't be clicking over there, get stuck in the other dimension, okay? Make sure you guys silence your phones, take some notes, ask yourself this question: what am I hesitating on today that I need to decide on? What do I know I need to be doing, but I haven't chosen not to yet? So this is what I'm talking about. Executing on the things that you know you should be doing, but you haven't yet. So this is basically working on the business, not in it. Because we all know the things that we need to do to work on it, but getting there, it's like you finally get a place. Okay, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write that SOP. Okay, I'm going to do that thing. And all of a sudden you get a notification. Okay, let me just answer this. All of a sudden you get a phone call. Let me just do this, right? There's so many things vying for your attention that you know what you need to do, but you haven't done it. Here's another thing. You know the business card activity that we did earlier? From this very stage, this stage right here for the last year, I've heard it said 4 or 5 times from the speakers, get a business card. So if you've been at Collective for the last year, you've been attending these business insight meetings and you haven't got a physical business card, shame on you, okay? Because we're talking about some really amazing business people telling you to get a physical business card, okay? Yeah, sure, print media is out, but why do you still get mail? Why does a credit card company still sending you stuff every week? Because it works. A physical business card, right? You would take it and you're going to bring it home. It might get lost someplace, but it might come back to you. Be like, oh, who was that one person I met? That's right. I have this business card. And you go there. That doesn't happen on the phone. Yeah, sure, get their contacts, but it's in that, okay? It's not a physical thing, perhaps sitting on your desk. Here's another thing. For the last 5 months, starting with Charles did his, I think it was called Kingdom Blueprint, right? And then we had Mario. He talked about branding. We had Derek talk about marketing. We had Russ talk about connection, AKA sales. And then we had Sage talk about how to scale. Yo, in the last 5 months, you guys could have started a business. You had somebody to tell you how to do it. Somebody to tell you how to brand it, how to market it, how to sell it, how to scale it, right? So lucky for you, I'm telling you how to execute it, okay? So what are you guys doing with all this advice, all this knowledge that's out there? So I got this funny video. Let's hope the sound comes through. Oh, I'll try to run it, Kern. Good? Okay.
We could cut costs. We could open an account on FedEx.com, save 10% on online express shipping.
Am I right? It reminds me of my wife. Sometimes I'll tell her like 100 times, like this thing. And then she'll hear it from her friend come home and be like, babe, you know what my friend said? We should do this. I'm like, it's exactly what I said. But I didn't do this. Okay. So with everything that these guys have said in the last 4 or 5 months, okay, they've repeated it time and time again. And I'm telling you right now, get a business card. Okay. So here's my hand gesture. Everybody put your hand up. Okay. And you're going to go like this. Now you're going to say, execute. One more time, execute. Do the thing, execute. So what is one thing that would move your business forward? This I want you to write down, like actually right now. I want you to write down what is the one thing that would move the needle for your business, okay? I'm going to give you 8 seconds to do that. What is one thing that would move the needle for your business? I was going to have you guys share your table, but because we're short on time, this is what I'm going to say. Execute it. Execute it. Do that thing, okay? This might be that person's doing this, that you already know what to do, but someone just needs to tell you, execute. And you say, Matt, you don't understand, dude. I got so many staff and I got so many problems and people always calling me, emails here, kids this, car breaks down, blah, 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 all of that. I would say to you, welcome to the entrepreneur life, okay? Rhino Irwin said at the conference, I don't remember exactly verbatim, basically, if you want to have a chill, easy life and rest when you get home, get a job. If you want to work blood, sweat, and tears and work harder than most people, have some late nights, early mornings, and just hope that you can make it, become an entrepreneur, right? And so you have to execute it. Everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. All of us, okay? So here's a quote. There is no such thing as time management, only self-management. We cannot control time, only how we operate within it. I don't know who said that, but it's a good one. We all have the same 24 hours, but it's how you self-manage your time. So typically in my 12-week year workshops, what I'll do is have people take out their phone. Hey, let's see how much time you're spending on all the different things. And a lot of people get embarrassed because there's a lot of time on YouTube or social media, right? That's time you can have back, okay? So learn how to self-manage. Here's another one. I'm gonna save you 30 minutes every day. Add that up every day, 3.5 hours. Stop taking your phone to the bathroom, okay? 30 minutes right there. For one, gross. For two, now you just got 3.5 hours back of your week to work on the thing that you need to, okay? You can use social media to achieve your goals, or social media can use you to achieve their goals. It's kind of like this. You know that Marvel movie with Doctor Strange? He's got the rings and he sets up that portal to a different place. It's like that when you grab your phone. You go to do something and then all of a sudden you step in and you're like 20 minutes later, what was I doing again? How many times has that happened to you? Okay. So you'd say, okay, I need to do social media for work. Like, great. I understand. I get it. Okay. I'm trying to build in public right now. In fact, I'm taking Sage's advice. He said, build in public last month. And that's what I started doing. Posting a whole lot. Do I like it? No, I don't. That's how I feel. That's why I do that. Because I don't like doing it, but I know it's a thing that can potentially move the needle for my business. Okay. So if you're spending too much time in social media, but it is for work, think about this. Create more than you consume. Okay. Create more than you consume. Anybody familiar with Olympic weightlifting? Yes. Hands up. Where's Alana? Alana, be someplace. So Olympic weightlifting, real quick. This is what it is. This movement happens within, that was a 2-second, and then boom, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, bam. You see that weight right there? Lasha, this guy, he just lifted 267 kgs. I can't do the math times 2.2. That's 550 pounds-ish. He just lifted 3 refrigerators up and put it over his head, okay? Olympic weightlifting. And I love that sport. We do a lot of that in CrossFit. The reason why I love it is because it's such a dynamic movement happening within just 1 to 2 seconds. But here's the thing. Every Olympic weightlifter, in fact, every sport person has this thing in common. They have a competition date. They have a date of when they know they need to perform, okay? So what was my first point? Execute. My second one, everybody put your hands up. It's going to be set a date. Say that, set a date. I want you to look at your neighbor and you say, set a date. Right now, hands up, look at your neighbor, say set a date. There is nothing like setting a date, okay? To put a line in the sand to say, hey, this is when it's going to happen. As soon as you set a date, then you can reverse engineer everything. You take the date that you set that, hey, you're going to be speaking at Business Insights on this day. Okay, now I can reverse engineer, right? But if you just go, imagine if we did that for school. They actually did this in Indonesia. Here, you set an exam date, okay? But in Indonesia, they don't. And so the kids never know when they're going to take their exam. So set a date for that thing. Think about that thing you just wrote down about executing on. What is the one thing that's going to move your business forward that you know you need to do that you haven't? Now you're going to set a date. So I want you to literally choose a date right now on when you're going to execute on that thing that you wrote down earlier. I'll give you about 8 seconds, write it down, look at your calendar, okay, and set that date. And here's the thing. I don't want anybody setting a date past December 31st. If it's past that, it's too far out in the ether. You're not going to get to it because you can't think that far. So it has to be before the end of the year. Parkinson's law says work expands the time allotted for its completion. And that is the truth. Okay. So I have another book recommendation for you, The 12-Week Year. Incredible book. I am an operations guy. They talked about some of my stuff earlier. I love ops, okay? And I love being efficient. This book has tied in everything that I learned in such a beautiful way where it's like it can be implemented for anybody. It's simple enough to do for somebody who's really technical to somebody who's not, right? And you can execute on the things that you need to. So book recommendation for you guys. We also have Blue Suite, which is something we do for collective members only. So we had our, I think it's like our 5th or 6th cohort start 2 weeks ago. Real quick, hands up, who's in Blue Suite right now? You got a few? Cool. Who's done it before? So incredible, right? We see a lot of traction with that. And so much so, Pastor Drew's like, hey, Matt, you got to blow this up even more. And I did. So I have a business now doing that, kind of network. So hit me up, okay, if you want to jump in on Blue Suite for the next one, which is going to be right at the middle of December. We'll have an info session, and then we'll get started right at the start of the year, okay? Now, before I go on, I did want to provide you guys with the notes. Depending on how good my kids are, tomorrow I'm going to be sending you an email out with the PDF, the slide deck, links to resources. I'm also including there a free 30-minute consultation. So go ahead and scan that QR code, okay? Now, hitting up to my last point. Sure can. Getting to my last point. So what was my 2 hand gestures so far? Guys, do it with me. Execute and set a date, okay? But up until this point, it's all been like business talk. You could have got this anywhere else. You could have gone online. You could have gone to any other business meeting, event, whatever. But what makes this one different? See, the reason why I had vision to victory is because first, that's my personal story. And for 2, because I feel that we are called not to just go about business as usual, okay? Not just to do things in the same way, but we're called to a bigger vision, okay? Both personally and collectively. And so I want to use that example that I had earlier with the Olympic lifting. So this movement, right? You've got this guy lifting 3 refrigerators off the floor. You don't understand how much blood, sweat, and tears and effort has been put into this moment that's only going to last 2 seconds. All the training, all the strength cycles. He's in the gym 9, 10, 12 hours a day, doing all the work in order to perform this amazing movement, okay, to lift 3 refrigerators over his head, all right? But it comes to a certain place in that lift where he's not in control, okay? So right at that place where that bar hit the apex, at that point, you don't actually know what's going to happen. You don't, because you lose control. You have to loosen up your grip and you have to drop under there. So you're doing all the work, you're doing all the research, you're doing all the hires, you're doing all the things, you're investing, and then boom, you're at this place where you get it to as high as you can. But then now what? You have to hope that you catch it in the right place. Drop underneath and lift it up. See that? Making waves. So when you get it to this front rack position, you have to get it to that perfect position, because if it's too far forward, you lose the lift. If it's too far back, then you get guillotined, okay? So getting it to that perfect position, this is 550 pounds, okay? You have no margin for error. But at some point, boom, right here, you have to hope that you've positioned yourself in the right place. So let me ask you guys, where is your hope? Where is your hope at? Because my hope is in the Lord. So where are you placing yours? What are you placing it in? So when times get hard, I started an internship program for coaches, right? Because I needed a lot of coaches to manage my gyms. 26 of them came through my internship program. 8 of them went on to build their own gyms. 5 of them opened right next to me. Am I worried? Of course. Did it hurt? Yeah. But you know what? My hope is in the Lord. When I had to deal with so much corruption across Indonesia, from regional tax guys rocking up in 10 people deep with their uniforms and outfit and say, hey, you got to pay me tax. I'm like, dude, I already paid tax. Local, federal, state, no, we're a different one. Why do you gotta come 10 people all dressed up like you're about to smash me? I have to deal with family mafia. Guys bringing in their family members from other parts of Indonesia. They try to strong arm me. I told you about the immigration. Not only that, but man, Pele has her vacation home in Hawaii, Big Island. But her permanent residence is in Indonesia because volcanoes are always going off. I've had to deal with so many natural disasters that of course affects society and demolishes places, but affects business as well. But despite all of that, where is my hope? It's in the Lord. So that's my third gesture. Everybody put your hand up. Where is your hope? Okay? Do those 3 gestures with me. First one, execute. Second one, set a date. Third one, have hope. Where is your hope? Where are you putting it in? And I'll leave you with this. And now, oh Lord, for what do I wait? My hope is in you. What are you waiting for? Why are you waiting? Why are you so hesitant on that thing? Why are you just standing there wasting your time looking silly? You've already made 90% of that decision to do it. So do it. Execute it. Take that leap. And when you do, remember where your hope comes from. So in closing, I believe, guys, that we have an incredible calling over our lives. I'll put on my Inspire Collective co-director hat. I'll turn it sideways because I'm different. And I would say this to you guys. We're not called to do business as usual, okay? If we're truly going to change the landscape of business here in Hawaii, okay? If we're going to do things different, we can't just adapt. We have to lead. So why can't you go into a meeting and pray before that meeting? And maybe they're an unbeliever. Maybe they're not a person of faith. But say right before you start the meeting, hey, just so you know, I was praying for you before this meeting. And I just wanted to bless you with like health and your family stuff and everything. So yeah, I just wanted to leave that with you. Why couldn't you do that? Why couldn't you, in a negotiation, maybe lose more to bless the other guy more? Dante's got a cool story about that. Yeah, he's lost more, but in faith to Jesus, he ended up gaining more, not even knowing. Why? Because his hope is in the Lord. So we have a tremendous calling on both our lives personally and collectively. And so I would say this, everybody put your hands up. If you can do these things where you execute, set a date, and have hope, then you will move from vision to victory. Thank you, guys.